Hi, everybody. Todd Nash, Senate District 29 for the state of Oregon here. We just wrapped up Ledge Days for November, and Ledge Days just lasted 3 days. And here on the Senate, we finished up with confirmation votes. I ended up being a no vote on every one of the confirmations. There's a lot of good people that have signed up and dedicated to boards and commissions. We vote on a lot of them as a slate and not individually, and I wasn't comfortable with all the individuals. There were some of the others that I hadn't met in person or hadn't been able to vet thoroughly, and they hold important positions. Some of them, for instance, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife Commission, they have rule-making authority that ends up becoming law. And I think it's really important that we as senators, and especially me as vice chair of the Natural Resource Committee, be able to really vet those individuals as to how they're going to vote, how they see things on the landscape. Are they engaged with hunting and fishing and some of the values that we hold near and dear to our hearts in Senate District 29 and throughout the state? Conservation and making sure that our game animals are in a healthy state is vitally important to a lot of us. And so just didn't get an opportunity to talk to some of those folks. Had an opportunity to talk to some and wasn't satisfied with some of the answers that I got to them when I answered questions. So with that, I ended up being the only person that was a no vote on every individual, and not necessarily proud of that, but that's how that went. We are at a deadline now for on Friday for the bills that we're going to introduce in the short session. And so we're limited to two bills. I've also been offered a Natural Resource committee bill. Still working on that to whether the chair and I can come to an agreement on a bill that we want to introduce. We've been back and forth just a little bit, but haven't settled on one. So maybe one more to come. The bill that the governor vetoed, the preg check bill, I'm going to reintroduce that. I have one also on housing that I tried last time and it failed. And it would allow an additional dwelling unit up to 2,500 square feet instead of the traditional 1,000 square feet ADU. And we think that that is a good adaptation to some of those rural communities and some of that ag land that wouldn't necessarily take up more ag land, but allow another family to live there on that property and maybe enhance and perpetuate those generational farms and ranches. Housing is in demand everywhere. We want to alleviate that. Have another one that would allow development up to 50 acres per county in counties that have low density populations. And then people could come in and apply through the Planning Commission, be approved by the county commissioners there as to where those are sited. And we all know that we have sites within our own communities that aren't high value farmland, but are listed as um, exclusive farm use. And we think those communities can best make those decisions. These are identified as smaller houses and 5 per acre, so quite a few of them per acre. These are not the McMansions that everybody's worried about. And so trying to get affordable homes in areas where it's a little more remote, we think that this is maybe a good fix. And in the end, if you don't think it's a good fix in your community, you have some weigh in on it at your local planning commission with your local county commissioners that are elected officials. And we think those local decisions are the best ones. Should you choose not to do it, you choose not to do it. And I have those roots ingrained in me pretty deep as a former county commissioner and I want to keep those decisions as local as possible. I've had a little bit of a change in committees here. I'm still on the Natural Resource Committee and vice chair of that committee. I'm on the Housing Committee. And then lastly, I'm on the Natural Resource Ways and Means Subcommittee. And there's a lot of decisions that are going to be made here. We've been asked to take a 5% cut through every department. Now, it would have been really nice to have the departments come to us and say, have an open conversation, say, this is where we could best take our 5% cut. And that's in essence what happened. But the department was told by the governor's office also where they thought the cuts were most appropriate. And we really need to know from the department where they can best serve the people of Oregon, still make the cuts, and keep rolling. And I'm not sure we're getting the clear picture of that. Our governor tends to be a little more oppressive than she should be, and this is another great example of it. Um, I I wish that things were a little different, but they're just not right now. I want to update you too on there's a petition going around for the gas tax that was passed out, Senate House Bill 2500, I believe. But that bill passed here on a very partisan vote, and and so that's been referred to the people, and now you have about 3 weeks to sign that petition, and I will tell you that has tremendous momentum. The first 3 days of signature gathering gathered 42,000 signatures. Now they're hoping to get 120,000, but they think by the end of this, potentially could have 200,000 signatures to submit to the Secretary of State's office. And we're hopeful that that'll put us back in a place where we can then negotiate in good faith and get to a spot where not only Oregon Department of Transportation, counties, cities are all in a better position to negotiate for the needs of what are the highway miles, the roads of Oregon. And it's a vital, important part of what we do as state government. I've said time and again, I think the three major functions of state government are education, transportation, and public safety, and not necessarily in that order. But those are the things that I think we need to fill the buckets up first, and then we kind of fill in around that. That's not necessarily what we do here, but that's what I think are the three major components. And getting this transportation package right is important. I really truly believe there's a lot of counties that need more money. I was closely tied to a county budget that was going backwards, and I believe still is. There's a lot of cities that get very little money out of this transportation package. The city of Condon was getting $40,000 a year to maintain their city streets. You can't hardly patch a sidewalk for that. So recognizing not only the population, but what gets transported over there in commerce in Eastern Oregon, what the number of miles of roads. We can't just look at population and then say, this is how much we're going to give you. We need to reformulate some of that. I think there's still problems with the weighted miles and getting away from that for the truckers. We have a few more things to work out. I want to tell you also about a really damaging initiative petition. Click. Oh, there we go. Um, IP 28. IP 28 is an initiative petition that would ostensibly do away with animal agriculture, hunting, and fishing. And that has been around for a while. It was first IP 13, then IP 3, and now IP 28. They have till July to collect those signatures. And I think they need over 100,000 signatures, but right now they're at 80,000. And it's kind of a scary thing because you get it on the ballot in Oregon here, and you never know what's going to happen. That's a really a scary proposition, a petition that's out there right now. I wanted to change the way we collected signatures so that we balance that throughout the state a little bit. I had a bill for that last session. I think it was largely misunderstood, and unfortunately, it didn't pass. But it would help alleviate some of those issues, like an IP 28, I believe. Um, I'm going to finish up here, folks. I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving. One more announcement to make. Um, I made a change with the chief of staff here. I want to first say I appreciate so much what Jake Pelroy brought to this office in getting through the first session and having quite a lot of success. Couldn't have done it without Jake. He was very helpful in all of that. Um, the reason I made the change was Isaac Insko was interested in coming over here, and I was interested in hiring Isaac. Lives in La Grande, very bright young man. He's graduated there from Eastern Oregon University. He spent the first long session as chief with Representative Bobby Levy. He's well suited for this position and couldn't be more thrilled. So when you see me around in Eastern Oregon now, you'll see Isaac as well. You'll see Isaac coming to events that I am not able to go to. Please reach out to him if you have something that you want worked on, and he's more than capable of doing that. And of course, I want to make myself available as well. But really thrilled to have him there. Really thrilled for our district to be able to have somebody embedded there that is committed to the health and well-being of Senate District 29. With that, folks, I will talk to you probably later on in January when we go through our next ledge days and then on to short session, and try to keep you up to date there. But have a great Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year's, and we will talk to you later. Bye. Okay.